Hey guys, my name is David and this is my first video to kind of show off what I have for my Medaka Ricefish and kind of give you guys an idea what it's like. So I have multiple pools set up in my garage. Each one is specific for variations in the age of the fish. So this very first one that's infested with duckweed is my juveniles. It's a mixture of whatever I hatched at the time. I really didn't separate the eggs when I was incubating them, but I usually wait until they get a certain age and then I'll separate them out. It makes it a little easier, a little more self-sufficient for getting things done quicker. But yeah, there's not much going on in this one other than, you know, it's just a bunch of little fish and too much duckweed. So that's pool one. Pool two is a lot less plants, mainly because I'm in the middle of changing this all around, so everything you see is probably going to change within a week. But this is my black Medaka fish, so they're very hard to find with the camera because of the rocky dark bottom. They blend in perfectly. I think I see some over there. Hold on, some by that. There's a couple, and a not so black one, but still considered black. So these guys, I have about 20 something of them in here. I haven't really kept on breeding them only because I've noticed each time I'm hatching them, the colors are getting lighter and lighter black. So I've been trying to find more darker colored ones that I can breed out and create a darker line, just because these ones are getting more of that wild type color, which is still cool, but it's not really what I'm going for. So that's pool two. And then pool three is another mix. It's a lot of juvenile, but there's also some adults in here. So the adults are mostly platinum, you can see them, but you can see in the background I also have some orange and mixed, and a couple tricolors, a couple golds, there's also blacks in there too, and there's some mixed colors that are really unique that I want to try breeding out into a single line, but that's a project. This pool is definitely really messy, and I have kind of just thrown everything in here last minute to keep it going, so that's another one I'm gonna have to clean up, so apologies for all the mess. This pool is my better pool. This pool actually has a lot of variety in it, and it's definitely my most prized pool. I keep most of my better, healthier looking fish in this one, and it's one that I've kind of let just go by itself. I don't really mess around with it too much. I let them do their thing, and I'll just add the breeding squids in there so I can collect their eggs and get more generations going. But these are definitely my healthiest, happiest fish, and I really like this pond. It has some of the better fish in it, but I mean, all my fish are great, but these are definitely, you know, I've sorted them out to where these are my favorite. And then I have one more as far as the pools go, and this one is a I don't know, maybe I don't want to call it the reject pool, but it definitely has some of my more undesirable fish in it. It's fish that I feel like I wouldn't really want to sell, and maybe they have more of a swimming pattern that isn't ideal, or maybe their one fin is a little shorter than another, you know, little things that make them little imperfections, but that's okay. You know, they still get to live here and be happy, and they'll probably just live their life out here. I really don't plan on breeding them just because the lines they make probably won't be the healthiest. But this pool doesn't have too many right now. It's only maybe 15 to 20 fish. Most of my fish turn out extremely healthy. There's just, you know, you do it so many times, you get a handful that are a little different than the others, and that's okay. Showed you that. So this is my natural soil dirt tanks. So these also have a lot of juvenile in them. Let me move this real quick. I've also been dealing with lights. I can't figure out a good light system without getting a $300 electric bill, so I've been kind of borrowing lights off of other tanks. So this one is it's probably one of my top juvenile tanks that I have. Everything in it is extremely happy and healthy, and I mean, there's not much to say about it. They're really happy. I keep a natural soil in the tank. It keeps the plants going. I mean, I've had this tank for a long time, and Really all I do is top it off, and I'll change the water if it ever gets really cloudy, but it stays pretty crystal clear without any filters or anything in it. So they've got a nice little system going on. As we go down, I apologize for the lighting, it's awful. I'll actually turn this off 1 second. How do I turn that off? Okay. So this is another soil tank, and this one also has a couple juveniles in it. There's no specific reason on why I separated them. It's just kind of, you know, I don't want to put too many in one, just so they have more room. These are 5-gallon tanks, so they're not very large. Medaka can definitely survive in smaller spaces, but I don't think it would be ideal for long periods of time. So, and then this is another one. The tanks are getting dirtier as we go down. Apologies for that. I need to scrub them. But it's the same thing, you know, it has juveniles in it. There's nothing too special about them other than they're just growing up. The barrel. Okay. So the barrel was a mistake that I made when I tried to cut a 50, or I think it's 55 or 35 gallon drum, and it didn't work out so well. So I kind of stacked it and created a shallow, it only goes to about there, but it's a shallow pool. And last I saw, there were, or is, little Medaka in here. Yes, there are. Okay, there's Medaka in here, little itty bitty ones. You probably won't be able to see it on the camera. Good try though. Let me zoom in. You can see anything in there. Probably not. But it does have some, and it also has quite a bit of shrimp. So this is a barrel where if I don't have room for collecting eggs, I'll throw them in here, and then they'll grow up, and I'll end up separating them as I recognize their color. All right, and then we're gonna go on to the glass tanks. So the glass tanks, I have the Matin filters that just use air to kind of filter it. And with these ones, I really just kind of let it run. It kind of does its thing. I'll feed them every once in a while, and they graze on the algae on the filter, and that keeps them pretty good. I mean, they're really low upkeep as far as taking care of these type of fish. They're all pretty fat and happy. But this is another mixture. This is actually a project I was doing where I was trying to create, you know, fun combinations of fish and see if I can get some unique color patterns on them. And I did. You don't really start to notice their colors until they get much older, and then their color display is a lot more noticeable. They're kind of hard to tell what their true colors are when they're so young because they're still growing into it. But that's really the only tank that I have that's like set up where it's there, you know, there's plants and then there's the filter and it's clear. Everything else that I have has way too many plants in it. I'm talking like, if there's fish in there, they can't swim. So I need to do something with all these plants. I plucked them out of the pools and put them in here just so they wouldn't die, but now I don't know what to do with them. And then this is another little experiment tank where it's just massive sponge filters and a side filter, and it does have Medaka in it. I have a couple in here that just kind of ended up growing in here. I actually have some red caps in there, which is pretty cool. But this is another really healthy tank, and I have quite a few shrimp in there too. So whenever I get a new tank up and I need to grab some shrimp, I'll go ahead and just pull from this tank. This tank's self-sufficient. I really don't have to do anything with it other than, you know, throwing an algae pellet every once in a while. Yeah, that's pretty much it for my setup. I don't have much more than that. I do have an outdoors setup where I have quite a few black tubs that I use for the outdoor Medaka, and there's quite a few. I'd probably say a couple hundred or more outside, so I'll probably end up showing that another day. But this is what I got. Oh, I can show you what equipment I use at least. So for like these little side ones, I really only like using like the little separate double end pumps, and I'll just, you know, I usually switch back and forth. I don't put any in the top one, so any of the tanks that look like they're fully cycled and they're planted, I usually won't put a filter in it just because they've proven to do so good without them, like that one. So the first two here don't need the filter. The bottom two definitely do, and yeah, those are gonna keep going. As far as the pools, I always make sure I have I think it's a 115 watt heater. It might be more, I might be really wrong. And then I usually always try to keep some type of wave maker, current maker in the pool. That way, you know, if the fish want to swim in front of a stream, or they want to swim in front of something that keeps them moving, or they need a little exercise, and the wave makers definitely do that. They're usually close to 5 watts, I think. I get the lowest powered ones, but it's just enough to move the current on the edge. It also helps clean the pool quite a bit, because nothing really sets. You know, a lot of it gets put down into the gravel, and then the snails will get it, and the shrimp, and so it's kind of a self-sustaining clean system if you just have a 5 watt current maker. So I've been using that. For collecting the eggs, I use the traditional way with the Scotch-Brite and the floaties, and I usually will collect these every couple weeks. I have a breeding tub that I just kind of threw in there because I'm very lazy and I didn't want to step on it, so I'm like, oh, it's safer in the pool, just chuck it in there. So that's sitting in there. So that's really it. There's not much more to this. This is all going to be changed here within a couple weeks. It's really not going to look the same at all. I'll actually probably have less pools, just because I've found this is a little overkill, and I haven't been able to really keep up as a single person trying to do this. So I'm going to crunch it down, and hopefully that makes it a little easier. As far as lights go, I use grow lights that I used to use for plants, but I don't do plants anymore, so I've been kind of just using them for my fish, and they work really well. I have 3 of them set up, and when they're all plugged in, it's very bright, but I've been noticing that my electric bill has been getting in the high hundreds, so I've been trying to figure out a way that works. Right now, natural lighting and just one LED has been doing pretty good for me, especially since I don't really have any plants in the pools extending this far. Yeah, I think, you know, that pretty much covers everything. This is, you know, my Medaka setup, and I'm trying to grow it into something big and special, and I really want to try to get this Medaka thing up and going, and hopefully I can learn more on the way and see more videos of people with their setup and get some ideas. But, you know, I love this community, and I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I really hope that these ricefish take off in the Western world. They're not very well known, and it's exciting when people get excited about it. So I hope I get to see more of that. But yeah, I hope you guys liked the video, and this gives you a very rough idea on my setup and what I'm doing. And yeah, hopefully my next videos have a little bit better production quality, and I'm a little less nervous. But hey, it's the first video, so anyways, thanks for watching.